Hi guys, Matt Lemke here with your gamer goggles. Well, you know who I am, I hope. And I'm with Ryan. He's the media guru over at Passport Game Studios. Singular
Hello?
or plural? It is singular. Studio.
Studios, no plural. Yeah,
I think I've done that wrong for years.
It's all right.
And we're going to talk about Citadel of Time.
Professor Evil and the Citadel of Time.
Oh,
The whole title there.
I covered that. That's their fault for putting small letters there. This is actually the first I've heard of this game. And since this is like a prototype box and prototype stuff, it's really cool. And Skyward, this is an advanced copy.
Yep.
So, let's start with Skyward.
Sure.
Unless you want to start with the big box.
No, we can do Skyward. That's totally fine. So Skyward is the first game that we are going to be publishing with our new Australian partners, Rule and Make. That we announced that we're working with them as of May. So this is a $25 MSRP game that'll be releasing in September, and we will have early copies at Gen Con for those that want to beat those that are going to get
spread
it
out
stores,
Christmas shopping,
or that. There you go. Sure. What this game is all about is there's a little story about it kind of being in this utopian future where society's broken into 4 factions, and they've kind of had issues and squabbles and so forth for many years, but they're finally setting aside their differences, and they're going to make a better tomorrow by building the first airborne city above the 4 realms.
And I don't know if you mentioned, I might have missed it because I was distracted by the beautiful box. It's a card game.
It is a card game, yes. Yeah, this is an I cut, you choose mechanic based card game. So for those not familiar with that, it means that we are going to deal out a number of cards. Specifically in this game, it's 4 cards per player. It'd be 8 cards in a 2-player game if you and I were playing. And if I were the current warden, which is a role that will be designated to put people over the course of the game, I have to decide how to split up those 8 cards in a way that I feel is either fair or equal or unequal or whatever I feel like doing. And then I'm also going to give the title of warden to one of those piles. After I do that, you pick one of those piles for your taking, and I get whatever's left over. And the same would apply in a 3 or 4 player game where I split things into 3 or 4 piles respectively, and I get last pick. So I have the control over how things go whether I'm giving people resource cards or building cards that they need to get points or all these different things. I decide how I split it up. I decide where I want to put the advantage of being the warden, and then I forego my ability to choose those piles because I just get whatever's left. So strategically, you have to be very careful to build the piles in a way that incentivizes specific players to take certain things. If you see that someone wants cards of a certain type, maybe put a few of those there and make it really alluring there, but then put all the stuff that you want in another pile and make it so that people don't want to take that one, and so forth. So it's a really interesting mechanism. It's a lot of fun. There's a few other games that have done it, but what I think makes this one really neat is that there's a lot of card synergy and combos in it within the 4 factions of cards. So as you're collecting them, you are trying to launch buildings into the airborne city, and each of the different buildings have, or they are represented by the 4 factions that I spoke of earlier. So there's a green, a pink, a blue, and a yellow faction that each have a thematic name that I forget, of course. But effectively, there's 4 factions that all have synergies within them. So if you can get lots of the blue buildings, they're going to work well with each other. Lots of yellows work well together, and some of them even do have some crossover with other factions. So you have a lot of ways to manipulate people's desires when you're splitting up the piles as the warden, because sometimes a very specific card might be really good for them, even though this one over here has a lot more cards and is going to give them potentially more options. This one might be worth a ton of points for them, and so you put that one card by itself and say, well, you can take that if you want, and I'm going to get a bunch of stuff, knowing that theoretically it'll balance out. That's the plan. So so that's kind of the gist of it. It is about a 30 to 45 minute gameplay. Like I said, $25, 2 to 4 players, coming out in September.
Now, Citadel of Time, and this is actually all you get to see because they're using the pieces to play a demo.
It's true. It's true. Professor Evil and the Citadel of Time is being manufactured right now, and so the factory has sent us some box covers and some stuff to put pieces in. But as you can see, it is a not quite final box. But all the pieces are complete. This art is final. This is what you'll see in stores and also at Gen Con when we release this. It will hit both retail and Gen Con at the same time that week. It'll be coming out. This will be $40, 2 to 4 players. It is an entirely cooperative game. The theme here is that you have the title character, Professor Evil, who has this giant castle, the Citadel of Time, and he has traveled through time and gone into the past and the future to steal all kinds of relics and treasures and things of value, like Excalibur, or the Dead Sea Scrolls, or the Ark of the Covenant, or an alien artifact, and all this kind of stuff, right? And he has them stashed throughout his castle, and he's running around the castle trying to lock them away forever so that they're gone from history. And being the heroes that we are, we're going to team up and infiltrate his castle and try to take them back and abscond with them to return them to their rightful place in history, is what we're doing. So
I love the idea.
yeah, it's a very, very cool theme. I wish I had the board that I could show you here. You'll be able to find pictures of it online, check out our website and social media and whatnot, and you'll see lots about it. It's very exciting for us. But it's very beautiful. You have this big Citadel board, and in the middle of the board is a clock ranging with standard numbering 12 through through 11 all the way around. And you deal out three treasures onto the board at any given time, and each treasure has a time marker that tells you how long you have until the professor locks it away. And so the players are going to have maybe 30 minutes, so to speak, which is usually about 5 or 6 turns before that treasure is going to be gone. Or maybe you have 55 minutes, and so it goes almost all the way around the clock.
Real time.
No, it's not real time. No, excuse me. When I say minutes, I mean every.
That'd be so crazy.
That would be pretty wild. Be kind of escape roomy, But no, this is just virtual time on the clock. So every 5 minutes is a space on the board. So as you move 5 minutes, it's one spot around this clock on the middle, and as the professor's little token gets caught up to one of the treasures, that's when it gets locked away. So you can tell kind of when a treasure's lost forever, and you're like, okay, we're not going to invest any resources into that, but we still have time to rescue Excalibur and get away with it, or what have you. Throughout the whole mansion, though, it's not as easy as just go in and beat him to it. The trick is that the professor has set traps in all the rooms of his mansion, some of which are on, some are off, and he's going to run around turning on the ones that are off while we're running around trying to turn the ones that are on off. And there's also doors between all the different rooms that he is constantly locking as he goes through these rooms. And so you have to run, through a room and unlock a door as an action, and then you can go to the next room and unlock the next door. And so it keeps you kind of gated, both figuratively and literally, from getting quickly around the Citadel. And so you have to manage your actions with the team to be able to, okay, I'm going to unlock these doors. That way you can rush in and deactivate this trap, and the third player in order will be able to go in and pick up the treasure, for example. So there's a lot of cooperation there. Each of the players also gets a unique character that they play as. There's 5 different characters in the game for the 4 people maximum that it'll play, so there's a little bit of variance, so you'll always have a slightly different team potentially. And each character has its own unique abilities that can be unlocked, as well as a unique deck of cards. On each player's turn, they get to draw 2 of their cards and choose one of them to play. So there's always a little bit of variability as well from turn to turn, to say not only can I move through the castle, unlock doors, disarm traps, and so forth, but I can also do something adverse to the professor and make it so he can't move this turn, or maybe I'll make it so that all the traps on that side of the Citadel get turned off because I'm in the right room, or what have you. Okay. So there's lots of cool manipulation and ways to do that. So it's very puzzly in a very kind of Forbidden Island, pandemic kind of way, that kind of puzzly cooperative genre, if you will. It's very much in that realm. The whole game plays in about 30 to 45 minutes, and that can include teaching time. We've been running to Tiered Origins the last few days now, and we'll sit down with a new group, teach them, and they'll be done with the game within 40 minutes usually.
So not much of a learning curve.
No, it's really straightforward. I mean, everything I went through there is just about all the details. There's a couple small, things that I glaze over there, but yeah, that's pretty much everything you need to know to play the game. So it's a lot of fun. Like I said, it'll be out of Gen Con and hitting retail at the same time.
I do not know what the voice of God was trying to say.
So there you go. Those are our 2 newest releases that are coming up very soon.
Anything else you want to add?
Well, we have, I can say we have some other new stuff coming up the rest of the year that we're not promoting heavily here at the show, but we have more coming with Rule and Make. They have a few new games that we're working on with them, so watch for more announcements about that. We're also continuing to work with Splotter, who is the publisher of big heavy-duty games like Food Chain Magnate, Antiquity, Indonesia. Those all have been available through us in the past, and we are excited to say that we're bringing Antiquity back into print this year. Around November is the plan, so just before the holidays. Antiquity's been out of print for 5 or 6 years now, somewhere in that range, and they are the guys at Splatter are refreshing all the components and making it a little more visually, just kind of refreshed and a little more modern, which is great.
Revitalized.
So, revitalizing. There you go. So we're excited to bring that one back to market. Everyone's very thrilled for that. And then, got some other things up our sleeves for 2018, but we'll worry about that a little bit later in the year.
All right.
So,
man, that's good.
there you are.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Matt.
Good job.
Appreciate it.
Bye, guys.